Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, please lead us from unreality to the reality, from ignorance to the knowledge, and from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, so we are discussing different type of samadhis. So this samadhi is a technical word. When we read according to Patanjali Yoga Sutras, it gives a different meaning or different understanding. So we have to be very careful when we use this word and when we understand the meaning. Here, the samadhi is nothing but concentration. So it has got two types, Nirvikalpa Samadhi and Savikalpa Samadhi. And among them, there are subclasses in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Here, Nididhyasana, that is Vedantic meditation, Vedantic contemplation, it has got broadly two divisions. One is Bahya, external, the other is internal, Antara. Again, in the Bahya, external, it has been classified into two things. One is Nirvikalpa, the other is Savikalpa. In Savikalpa, again, it was further classified into Shabda and Drishya. Drishya means any object, Shabda means sound. So, concentrating on the objects, one can practice meditation. Similarly, in the internally, whatever the classifications I told, same classifications also holds good with the external ones. So here samadhi means it is nothing but the meditation, contemplation. Rather, it is an art of concentration. Now, according to the author, one who is the best student of the Vedanta, when he hears the Mahavakya, when he hears that Upanishad, the great truth, I am that Tattvamasi, then he realizes, he experiences the self. Then he doesn't need anything. If someone is mediocre student, then he has to do manana. Manana is what? Again, reflecting on the thoughts, reflecting on the Vedantic ideas. When we say, I am that, so what does this I refers to? What does that refers to? So am means it is a state of being. So what does it mean? So by reflecting upon time and again, he realizes, he experiences the truth. Or rather, strictly speaking, he removes the ignorance, is able to remove his ignorance. So after manana also, we are not able to experience the truth. If you say, then you are at the just the beginner, or they say manda adhikari. So for you, Vedantic contemplation is required. That is what called nididhyasana. So among them, 6 types of meditation the author is trying to discuss in this Drishya Viveka. So already 2 types we saw. One is internal meditation, concentration on the objects. The other is, so here objects are nothing but thoughts. Then the second is internal meditation with the sound. So what is the sound here? It is rather the different meanings of the sakshi or the witness. So the witness is indestructible. So the witness is sakshi, chaitanya, then it is eternal. All these type of things we saw. So these two comes under Savikalpa Samadhi. Then the Nirvikalpa Samadhi we were discussing in the previous class. So according to the author, when you are constantly thinking that you are the self, you are the seer and not the seen. So starting with the thoughts, slowly, you shifted your focus from thoughts to that consciousness or sakshi or the self or the witness here. Then the first type of meditation, The second type of meditation is what? This, trying to meditate on the nature of the Sakshi. That also we tried. We discussed in the previous class. When you are doing it for a long time, when it makes a deep impression in your mind, even if you stop thinking, but still the thinking is going on. Say, for an example, I watch a movie. I like that movie. I finished the watching the movie, and again I'm driving back to home from the theater. Still, the movie scenes, whatever we have seen, consciously or unconsciously, it is lingering in the mind. So this is called Sukshma Vritti, according to the author. So when you are doing constantly this Vedantic contemplation for a long time, then what happens? It goes to your subconscious mind, even it goes to your subconscious level. So much so that without your conscious effort, will or willful effort, that thinking will be going on. I am that self, I am that self, I am that self. So when that is achieved, that is what the author is trying to tell. It is you are attained the state of nirvikalpa samadhi. Why? Because by this time, your attachment to the world, attachment to the worldly objects, or attachment to the sense pleasures has been negated, has been removed, controlled. So your mind has become very still. Since your mind has become very still, only it is consciously or unconsciously, it is reflecting upon the nature of the Atman alone. So then you'll be able to experience that you are that Atman. Again, the author also gives a word of caution. When we say that I am that Atman, or Atman is so and so, or Sakshi is so and so, when we say, again, we should not see it as a third person. When we are discussing the nature of the Sakshi, we should also think that I am that Sakshi. Say Sachit Ananda, or here it was Chaitanya we are taken. When we say Chaitanya, I am that Chaitanya. I am that awareness. I am that consciousness. When I'm trying to know about a pen, I came to know whole and soul of that pen. I've got a complete knowledge of the pen, but I am not the pen. But in the self, it doesn't happen. When I come to know the nature of the self, my external ignorance has been removed, but slowly, slowly, I should also try to understand or experience that I am that self. Self is distinct and I am distinct. No, it should not happen. That's what the author says. And this happens, Akandakara Brahmavrutti. Brahmakara Vritti comes into picture. When it comes, then the ignorance is removed, destroyed. Then what happens? The self shines completely. Self is always ever shining, no doubt, but a patch of ignorance was covering, so I was unable to understand or experience who am I. But the moment when this Akandakara Vritti, Brahmakara Vritti develops in my mind, then what happens? The ignorance is completely removed or destroyed. Then I will understand Ahamasmi Brahma. I am that Brahman. So this is what has been told in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So the same thing we can parallelly we can think even in the devotional scriptures. That is called Ajapa Japa. I think we had seen in one of the vice president of the Ramakrishna Matan mission, that is Swami Geethanandji. He had done so much japam, even if he stops doing japam, the repetition of the holy name, his mind is to do it. We had seen in Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi's life, in Swami Vrajanji's life. At least in our time, we have seen him, this Swami Geethanandji Maharaj's life. Even the people during his young days or in middle age, when he was doing this practicing severe meditation, the monks had observed and they told us, he used to keep two japamalas, two rosaries in both hands. So in generally, we all know that we count the beads in the right hand. So when he finishes 108 here he will press the one bead. So again 108 over, second bead counting. Third circle, again 108, then third bead is he pushed down. So that means the whole mala here again it goes 108 times. Here 108 times going on, and here it is going on 108 times. Means like that constantly he did, and so that it became a ajapa japa in him. Means though even he stopped doing japam consciously, but his mind was repeating the Lord's name. And that Holy Mother, Sri Ramakrishna, everyone has said that that is possible for all of us. So that is Ajapa Japa. The same thing is what here also. I am the self. I am the Sakshi. I am the Sakshi. I am the Sakshi. Continuously. Continuously, when you are gone discriminating between the object and yourself, that is the self or Sakshi, when it becomes so deep, all your mind gets settled, the ignorance is removed, then you stay in yourself. And the one technical difference between the Patanjala Yoga's Nirvikalpa Samadhi and the Vedantic Nirvikalpa Samadhi here the Vedanta doesn't accept that there is no thought in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi also. They say that, they argue that there is a vritti also, but in a dormant way, in a feeble way. They give an example of the deep sleep. I went to bed yesterday late night. Then morning I got up. I feel I am fresh because as I'm experiencing now. And also I know that I had a very deep sleep. So how do we know that we had a very deep sleep? Because that is my experience. Generally we say that. Yes, we say that it is my experience, no doubt it is my experience, but during deep sleep, was I aware that I am sleeping? No. Was I conscious that I'm in deep sleep? No. Then how can I get the knowledge that I had a deep sleep? It is based on memory. Fine. How that memory can have, that means what? There, the mind in very feeble way or in a dormant way, it is working. So that means in the deep sleep state also, there is a feeble vritti. Because even yoga also says that Vedanta also accepts that no knowledge is possible without any vritti at all. So even in the deep sleep state also, there is a mind working in a dormant state. Maybe 5%, 10% of the mind working, but still it is there. And that's why we are aware of that emptiness. We are aware of that blankness, or we are aware of that we had a deep sleep. Since my vritti was there, that's why I get a gnana, that is the knowledge of the deep sleep. So similarly, even here also they say that in Nirvikalpa Samadhi also, though the knower, the known, and the knowledge, these three differences are not there, no doubt. The duality has been dissolved completely, no doubt, but still a subtle vritti in a subconscious level or in a dormant way it is going on. That's why if one can come out from Nirvikalpa Samadhi, when he comes down from Nirvikalpa Samadhi, he or she will be able to experience or explain to certain extent how it was. Why? Because their vritti was there. Though it is not possible to explain it completely, even Sri Ramakrishna said very clearly, scriptures also told very clearly, but still to some extent, to the larger extent, they are able to experience. That's where in one of the senior monk of the Ramakrishna order or the apostle of Sri Ramakrishna, he says, from the experience point of view, Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, all of them have the same probably experience of the self. But when they came down from that experience, probably based on their mind, based on their ideas, or based on their knowledge, the way they explained the truth is different. And he has given a beautiful lecture in Sanskrit in Mysore Maharaja College in those days. How from the point of self-realization, how these three systems, main systems of Vedantic schools can be harmonized from the point of self-realization. So in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, what happens? In subconscious level also, without any willful act or without any conscious effort, that Brahmakara Vritti, I am that self, I am the Chaitanya, I am the Sakshi, will be going on so that the experience will be there very clearly. Whereas in the Savikalpa Samadhi, which we had discussed in the previous class, that we should understand, there is a deliberate action, there is a willful action. But in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, there is no willful action, there is no deliberate action. Rather, it has become automatic. Just like I say that probably today I liked maybe ice cream. I enjoyed chocolate ice cream. In my dream also, what do I get? I get chocolate ice cream most of the times. Why? Because it has gone to the subconscious level. Without my try, without any attempt, it came by naturally. So in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, that self-awareness becomes so natural without even thinking. When one starts experiencing, feeling that I am that self, I am that self. So this is what we have to understand. Now, so what happens after this Nirvikalpa Samadhi? If you ask, he will be able to understand that he is Chaitanya, he is Sakshi, he is consciousness. So three types of internal meditations has been explained. Now the author goes to the external types of meditation. So in the Samadhi, I mean the Nididhyasana, Antara and Bahya was there. Bahya, Antar is over, now internal, and Bahya is external. So there, in the Bahya again, two types of Savikalpa Samadhi and one type of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Three types are there. Now from the 27th verse, we will try to discuss these three types of Samadhis. Externally, how one can meditate. Externally, using external things as a object of meditation, one can meditate and one can realize the self. And this is again one of the a beautiful difference between Vedantic meditation and the yoga meditation or even devotional meditation. Generally, in devotional meditation, what do we say? Close your eyes, try to feel the God is in your heart or God is there everywhere. So we try to close our eyes and we start thinking about the nature of the God or the form of the God or his divine attributes. More or less in yoga also it is practiced. But in Vedantic meditation, they won't say, or they won't ask you to close your eyes. They say you can keep your eyes open and even you can meditate. Keeping your eyes open, one can meditate. So Vedantic meditation doesn't ask you or ask me to close my eyes and meditate. So what is the nature of Satchidananda is what the inquiry. That's why Vidyasana started. So the other way of external object keeping as a what you say medium, one can meditate and one can realize the self. Let us see. Rudhiva bahya deshopi yasmin kasmincha vastuni samadhiradya sanmatrat namarupa prutakrutihi. Means the first kind of samadhi. What is this first kind of samadhi? In the external type, this is the first type of samadhi. It is possible with the help of any external object as it is with the help of an internal object. So in that samadhi, the name and form are separated from what is pure existence. Now, so for an example, the author is, if you remember, Bahya Drishya, Antar Drishya, Anukalpa, Anuvidya Savikalpa Samadhi, what happened? We started thoughts as an object. So just you start observing thoughts. A ice cream thought is going. Then maybe a vehicle thought is going. Then yesterday you saw some person, that thought is going. Then you remember some feelings about some people, some things, that thought is going. So just you are an aware of the thoughts are going and coming. You are not raising them, but just they are going, you are becoming the witness. That's what we told in the Antar, I mean, Antardrushya Anuvidya Savikalpa Samadhi. Afterwards, then the author started asking, these thoughts are insentient. They are non-living. They don't have any power or energy. But still it appears, that it has got energy. Why? Because of the consciousness, because of that witness, because of the self. So slowly shift your focus from the thought to the conscious. That's what he had told. Now also, here also the same methodology is used in a different way. Now you take an object. Here, the author or the commentators gives the word of caution that we should not take the object which you like it so much or which you hate it so much. Say for an example, someone love red color, red rose. You love so much, you are obsessed with the red rose, then you should not take it for object of meditation. Why? Because you may be moved away, flowed away, carried over by your own emotions or feelings. Then say for an example, you don't like water. Someone has got a phobia for river or water. Then you should not take the water as an object for meditation also. Because since that hatred or phobia is there, so that feelings can become the greatest barrier for your meditation. So you should take any object. Say for an example, pen. Just you can take a pen. We all use the pen. You can take the pen as a meditation object of meditation. With open eyes, you start just looking into the pen. Then you are looking into the pen. It has got a form, it has got a color, it has got a function, all these things. Then what it is? Pen is there, pen is there, pen is there. So pen has got a name. It is called by the name. An object's name is pen, and it has got a particular form, it has got a particular function, and it exists. So when you are trying to concentrate your mind on the just pen, so many thoughts are going on, and you are trying to decrease all the thoughts slowly, and only now one thought is left over, that is the thought of pen. Maybe with regarding to pen, the name might have come, the form it might have come, the functionality aspects might have come, but only it is related with the pen now. Then slowly, if you are go on intensifying your meditation on the pen, then what happens? Only the pen is there, pen exists, name, form, existence. Only these three things stays back in your mind. The name of an object, the form of the object, and object exists. So the now author is telling, so separate the name and form of the object from the existence. Pen exists. Pen exists. Pen has got a name and it has got a form. That's fine. That is it is not constant, it is changing. But the existence, pen exists. That existence is what constant. It is constant behind the pen, it is constant behind the flower, it is constant behind every object, and it is constant behind me also. And that is what called existence. That is what called Sat. So here the fundamental difference between the earlier type of meditation and now, if you see internal and external, in the internal meditation, the author was asking us to focus on the Sakshi Chaitanya part. Now, in the external type of meditation, the author is trying to focus on the Sat part of the object, that is the existence part of the object. So pen exists, pen exists, pen exists. Yes. So forget about the pen, name and form. Start thinking, start concentrating on the existence. So you are shifting your focus from the Nama and Rupa, name and form, towards the existence. This is what the meditation technique in the Bahya Drishya Anuviddha Savikalpa Samadhi. Bahya is external, Drishya is object, and Anuviddha Savikalpa Samadhi is what? It is a type of concentration with the thoughts. So the methodology is same between the internal concentration and external concentration, but it is only difference is in the internal meditation type, we use thought as an object. In the external type of meditation, we are using an object, an external object, some object as a meditation. There, from the thoughts, slowly we shifted our focus to the Chaitanya, awareness or consciousness. Here, we are slowly shifting our focus from the external objects, name and form, to the existence part, that is the Sat part. Pen exists, water exists, everything is existing, isn't it? So there is a common phenomena, common factor among all the objects' existence, that is existence-ness. The existence-ness, it's called Sat. So shift your mind from the object to the Sat part. That is what the Bahya Drishya Anuviddha Savikalpa Samadhi. So this is what we have to understand. So technically, so the object has got 5 factors, 5 components. One is Asti, existence, Bhati, that is awareness, then Priyam, liking or happy, then Nama and Rupa, name and form. So separate this Asti Bhati Priyam from Nama and Rupa and concentrate your mind on Asti, because Bhati and Priyam also gets included there. So probably you can understand now why they're asking to take an external object. So when you are concentrating on this external object, just on that external object, so your mind is cut off from the so many other thoughts. Initially, it is not possible. When you are doing it, so many thoughts, consciously, unconsciously, so many thoughts will come. You are concentrating on a pen, then yesterday something happened in your life that might have come. Suddenly you remember. I mean, there is a funny story. I mean, it's all our experience. When we sit for meditation, whatever we have forgotten, all these things will come into picture. Oh, suddenly a lady may say, "Oh, I have put a clothes. Yesterday I forgot. I should bring the clothes from outside." Or suddenly I was supposed to do some work. I had forgotten. When we sit for meditation, then that comes into picture. So when we sit for meditation, whatever we forget, whatever we might have forgotten, all these things we'll be able to remember. That is the one thing. The second thing is mind will be trying to find some blame excuse during, when we are doing other work, so many other thoughts will be coming. We don't give any focus or importance. But when we sit for meditation, immediately, oh, that work is left out, this work is left out, that is very important. If I don't do, what will happen? So all type of blame excuses will be given by our own mind to stop the meditation, to get up from the seat. So that has to be controlled, no doubt. And when you are intently focusing on one object for a long time, knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, so many thoughts will be reduced. Say, for an example, 5,000 thoughts are coming for us, for an argument's sake, if you say, then constantly, if you're meditating, concentrating on one object, slowly, it may come to 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, like this. So that's why it looks very simple. It looks okay, we know it probably, all these things. No. But when you put into practice, slowly, your restlessness of the mind is controlled. Restlessness of the mind is arrested. Then what happens? Your flow of unnecessary flow of wastage of your mind or mental energy, or which can be said prana shakti, is controlled. When it is controlled, then you get lot of energy. You can use it for the better thing or for constructive thing. That's what the role of concentration. We all uh, know the importance and the efficacy of the concentration. So then slowly, it comes to only one thought, that is pen thought. When that comes, then slowly you should start thinking that an object, it has got a different form and it has got a definite name, but it exists. The existence part, pen exists, the existence part has been borrowed by the self or by the sakshi. So the name and form is temporary, and the sat part is for the impermanent thing, and my focus should be on the sat part. So slowly, you narrow down the thoughts to the only pen thought. Then you started differentiating between the name and form and the sat existence portion. The name and form is left out. Then hold on to sat part, hold on to existence part. This is what the Vedantic meditation. You can take any object, whichever, but only the word of caution is that object should not be, you should not obsessed by with, or you should not have any hatred towards it. Such object should not be taken. This is what the external object meditation. Now, external sound meditation is there. Just like we had the in the internal type, in the external type also, Bahya Shabda Anuvidda Savikalpa Samadhi. So, what is the second type of technique with respect to external type, external concentration, we shall see. So, here the second type, that is external concentration, is associated with the sound. So, in the first type, in the external meditation or concentration, we try to focus our mind using an external object. Now we are trying to focus our mind on the sound. So, what it is, let us see. Akandaika rasam vastu Satchidananda Lakshanam iti eva avachinna chinteyam samadhir madhyamo bhavet. So again, it is also a open eye meditation. The entity which is always of the same nature, which is unlimited by time and space, and which is characterized by existence, consciousness, bliss, and which is nothing but Brahman. Such uninterrupted reflection is called the intermediate absorption, that is the Savikalpa Samadhi associated with the sound. So in the first type of meditation, what happened? You segregated the existence from the name and form. So it is not the physical separation, it is only internal separation. It is what you say, from the philosophical point of view or from the conceptual differentiation. Conceptually, you separate it from the name and form and the existence part. This is, it looks so simple again, but it becomes very, what do you say, yeah, impactful. Even probably, I think once even I had made this experiment with myself. Just sit with yourself. Or maybe just, I am washing my hand or you are washing your hand. This is a common phenomenon every day, probably 5, 10, 20 times we might have done. But while doing that action, just start observing that your hand is turning the tap, one hand, the other hand is washing, the water is flowing, then the one hand stops the tap, the other hand takes the towel and wipes it. This is a general action, which is a very mechanical, which is very simple even. But when you start observing, you'll be able to understand there is a someone who is called observer, who is observing all these actions. When that, if you can become aware even for a moment, that gives a lot of what you say, strength, a lot of peace, and your restlessness of the mind can be curbed to the larger extent. You are doing the action in the similar way, but your focus has been shifted from the object or external world to the observer. You are doing the action the similar way, even like earlier, but your recognition or your thrust is given to the observer, not to the observed. But in generally, because we live unconscious living, we mix up with the thoughts and feelings and actions, or with the body mind complex and its activities. We are mixed up. So, with type of meditation, when we are doing conscious living, what happens? You can say presence of mindfulness and whatever, but you will be able to start observing that you are an observer and all the things are observed. They're all doing, the body is doing, your senses are doing, but you are observing it. It gives automatically, I say, your restlessness of the mind gets curbed, and you will get concentration, you will get mindfulness, and you'll be able to enjoy every action. And every small, minute details, you'll be able to understand. From that, while working, lot of errors, mistakes will be also reduced. And staying in the past or staying in the future also can be controlled by this. One is, it is also a method, step to have a self-realization, no doubt. Apart from that, in the mundane level, in the empirical level, restlessness of the mind is curbed, mind control is happened, checking of wastage of energy is done, and also staying in the past or staying in the future. That is what brooding or cutting. All these things can be controlled by this thoughtful meditation, Vedantic thoughtful meditation. Now, the second is, as already told, the second is what? Based on the sound. What sound? Probably, if you remember, once Naren went to Sri Ramakrishna and he told that when he sit for meditation, there is a sound. A factory makes a siren sound for a long time. So he is getting disturbed, is not able to meditate. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, why? You start concentrating your mind on that sound, then the problem gets solved. Probably every one of us, we might have read this story. We know this anecdote, whoever has read the life of Swami Vivekananda. And we read it and we pass on. But you see, Swami Vivekananda or Naren practiced it, and he was able to get away from the problem of that sound. So what might have happened? So when his mind started focusing on the sound, slowly, it stopped thinking anything else other than the sound. It is thinking on the only one sound, on that sound only, that siren sound. So that means the mind has become completely focused. The mind has become completely focused. The mind has become completely arrested only with that siren sound of the factory. Then when that state of the mind is achieved, then with that same power, with that same state of the mind, you can throw it or you can use it as a tool to concentrate on anything. Then even if there is a 10 times more sound next to you, you will not be able to hear if you don't want. And I've seen literally one of the Swami used to sleep. I wonder, when we joined, we had heard this, we have seen, and we have also questioned him, and the Swami told. Afternoon, say 1 o'clock, some youths used to come, children used to teach them some singing and this kanjani, playing tabla, playing kanjani, all these things. And in the small room, the room was also not very big size, small size. And he used to teach them, and he used to instruct the children, you practice. And this is my rest time, half past one to half past two, I will rest. And someone is singing band like that, and someone is playing tabla, someone is playing kanjani, and someone is playing some other instrument in that small room, and the Swami is sleeping aramse. Half past one to half past two, without any disturbance, he slept and he got up. And children also, I mean, children, whether how much they understood, we don't know, but at least I heard that sound a couple of times. And afterwards, I asked the Swami, it is your rest time, and the children are playing all that musical instruments in your own room, then don't you get disturbed? Don't you get irritated while you are sleeping? He said, no. Why? Oh, so that means you have got a control over your mind. What is the reason or cause? He said, see, after teaching the students, I give a auto suggestion to my mind. Look, my mind, this is the only time I give for you to rest. Half past one to half past two. If you want to sleep, you have to sleep in this time only. Otherwise, I don't give any other time. First point. Second thing is, I also instruct my mind that children are playing, they will have a sound, they will be making sound. You have nothing to do with that. So don't listen to it, just go to bed or just take rest. And I give this auto session to my mind, and with the God's grace, I'm able to practice that, what you say, suggestion or instruction. And half past one to half past two, I'll be able to have my enough rest and I'll be able to get up. See, this looks sometimes very funny, or it may be very imagination, or it is hypothetical thinking. No, but I have seen in my own life with the sadhu that he was able to put into practice. So it is all nothing but controlling the mind, regulating the mind in the desired way. So this type of meditations will help us to control the mind and regulate the mind in the way which we want. This is what called self mastery. Now, coming to this meditation technique, second type of meditation technique, that is on the sound. Sound means it is not external sound in generally, but even one can meditate on the concentrate his mind on the external sound slowly, slowly, and he can withdraw. But with respect to the text, he says that here sound means it is again the sound of the sat, I mean nature of the self or sakshi. Now, sakshi is what? It is sat, it is existence. It was there always, thousands of years before it was there. Is it there now? Yes. So after thousands of years, millions of years, will it be there? Yes. So it is Trikala Abhadita Satya. It is Shashvata. So trying to meditate on that sound called Shashvata. What is that Shashvata? It exists always, eternally. What it exists? Who exists or what exists? That is what Sat. That is what the consciousness or awareness. Here it is existence, and I am that existence. Existence is eternal, existence is Shashvata, Nitya, and I am that existence. That has to be practiced in this second type of meditation. And existence is not a part. There are so, for an example, this body has got parts. Head, we have got two hands, have got a trunk portion, we have got legs, we have got. So it is a part. And something is product. Again, this cloth is a product of the threads, isn't it? And this cloth has got a particular property based on the project. And it is limited by time and space. But now the existence, it is not a part of anything. It is not a product of anything. It is not limited by time and space. It doesn't have any boundary at all. It is all pervasive. And it is a substratum on which everything resides, everything exists. So basically, it's the nature of the Sat. These are the, I mean, definite terms are used in the Upanishads, in the Vedanta. So start meditating, trying to focus your mind on that nature of the self, that is as a Sat, as an existence. Means objects are perishable, whereas the existence is subject, it is imperishable. So it is, so we can meditate as an imperishable nature of the Sat. So such type of meditation technique is called meditating on the sound externally. Because if you remember in the Chandogya Upanishad, there's a beautiful shloka. In the beginning, my dear, this universe was being alone, only one without second. Ekameva dvitiyam. There is no two. If there is no two means there can be three, four. No, there is no two, only one. Because whatever the technical problem happens, when we say there is only one, if I have to say only one, then I have to say that means you are anticipating there are two things or three things. No. When we say there are no two, so someone may argue then there can be three, four, five. No. There are no two things and only one thing. Ekameva advitiya. So meditating, concentrating, or focusing on the nature of the Sat, on the words, Upanishadic words, is what the second type of meditation. So, as already told, there the Chaitanya aspect was concentrated in the internal meditation, in the external meditation, that is Sat aspect, existence aspect has been focused. But, and also we should understand fundamentally, essentially, theoretically, there is no difference between Sat and there is no difference between Chaitanya or Chit portion also. Now, after explaining these two types of Savikalpa Samadhi, the author will explain Nirvikalpa Samadhi. What is Nirvikalpa Samadhi? What is that type of concentration? And using the objective method here, which is external also in nature. Stabdi bhavo rasaswad trutiya purvanmatah yetaihi samadhibhi shadbihi nayet kanam nirantaram. Means the insensibility of the mind to external objects as before, an account of the experience of bliss, is designated as the third bliss of samadhi. The practitioner should uninterruptedly spend his time in the six kinds of samadhi. So here also we should very clearly understand this akandakara brahma vritti, akanda brahmakara vritti, and that sukshma vritti, whatever I explained, here also it holds good. In the two types of samadhi, the Savikalpa Samadhi, based on the object, external object, based on the sound, when he was go on doing it slowly, when he shifted focus from the object to the existence, from the sound to the existence, his mind is established in the Sat aspect of the self, in the existence aspect of the self. It's so much so that even if he stops thinking, I am that Sat, I am the Sat, I am the Sat. Sat is Shashvata, Sat is Nitya, and I am that Sat, which is Shashvata, which is Nitya, etc., etc. Even willfully there is no action, willfully there is no practice, but my mind is thinking about it, even at the subconscious level, at the root level also. When that it becomes so normal, without even willful action, I am able to feel and experience, or I am able to concentrate that I am that Sat. That is what called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Here also mind has completely controlled, no other thoughts, only single thought, that too in a very feeble way, in a dormant way, not in a strong way. In a Savikalpa Samadhi, there is only one thought, but that is a constant, which is willful action, deliberate action is involved, will is involved. Here, no will is involved, no deliberate action is involved, but the thought is very feeble in a dormant way, but it is completely experiencing of the oneself, that is what Sat. So when this happens for a long time, what happens? The ignorance is removed, destroyed, then I will experience I am that self. That's why he uses that one has to spend long time in the six types of samadhi. You may take one or two or all of this whenever, not every 5 minutes you should not change. But say for a few days you did one, then you thought you want to do other type of meditation. You can practice, no doubt. But any type of meditation you can take, it should be practiced for a long time. That's why my Gurudev used to tell on the lighter side, there is no holiday in the spiritual life. So that means, okay, morning half an hour and 1 hour, afternoon or evening half an hour, 1 hour I meditate, and rest of the time I will do whatever I want. Yes, you are free to do it, but the spiritual progress or going near to self will be hampered. It will be what you say, the speed or the progress will be reduced. So what happens? So here uninterrupted thinking, uninterrupted meditation means as much as possible you should keep on doing it. I think in Gita say, Shrunvan, Pashchan, Spushan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Shvasan, Pralapan, Visujan, Grunnan, Unmishan, Nimishan, Napi. When you are eating, when you are talking, when you are thinking, when you are working, all this time you should be able to think. The Gnani does that, it seems. Of course, then someone may ask, Swamiji, even when I'm driving, if I start thinking that I'm that self, what happens? I may meet with an accident. Yes, no doubt. We have to be careful there, no doubt. But other times, when if you are doing consciously, even while driving, your body and mind may be focused in a driving on the roadside and all, but a part of your mind, a part of your mind will be thinking about the self. Just like I think I gave one example in the previous lecture, probably in our two class before, the toothache. When I get a toothache, I got up early morning and I've started my activities. Probably I might have gone to my office and I'm doing my work and I'm talking with people, sending mails and doing whatever, but still in the corner of my mind, I am aware that I have got a toothache. And there's a very, when you say, funny story with my thing. It happens with sometimes singers. Once it so happened, I was in a Alsur, I joined in Bangalore. At 6:30, my office used to get over in the ashram. Then 6:45, we are supposed to run. In this 15 minutes, we used to go to room and fresh up and and sit for singing. And that day in the office, there was some important work and it was too much. And my mind was completely taken over for that work. But after that day, my turn was there of singing. So I had to close down the office work and I went I went to my room as usual. Freshed up and I brought my chadar and I sat and I started singing. Only I know Kandana first line. Only I'm aware of that first line. Afterwards, my mind is brooding on the problem what was in the office. So much so, how much time I don't know. But when I remember what happened, when I came to my conscience, then at least my mouth is telling that Jai Shri Guru Maharaj ki Jai. I thought, my goodness, I don't know, Guru Maharaj just saved me. I don't know what all things I sang, whether I sang Kandana only or any other hymn. But afterwards, I inquired with one of the brother Brahmachari that did I sing properly, anything mistake? He said, no, everything was all right. God saved. So why you can say that? Because of our practice, mind, a portion of the mind will be taking care of this. May not be all times, but many of the times. But the other portion of the mind can be thinking this. Even once I asked one of a senior sadhu, like for an example, our Gurudev Raghunathanji Maharaj. Yeah, I've seen in a couple of books. I mean, if it's a personal book, he used to sign the book when finished. He used to sign the day and place if possible. Many times he has signed in the book on a particular date or day, and also maybe like airport or railway station or some waiting for someone, something like this. We used to wonder, sitting in a railway station, how one can read. I mean, we don't get even the thought we can read and sit in the airport and railway station, we can read, but he used to read. That's why, though just he had a ninth standard, he had half of the library he had read. After his passing away, when his books was given to training center library, so many racks we had to purchase to keep the books. So many books he had read. How it was possible? Because he had trained his mind. One is his concentration. The other is, how is it possible? When I inquired with one senior sadhu, senior monk, he told, see, these people always, they live at the level of ideas or thoughts. When they come to talk with us or whatever, they talk to certain extent. I mean, at that given point of time, when that work is over, when they go back to the room, immediately their mind switches over to the thought level and they start reading. So then what happens? The wastage of prana shakti is minimal in their life. So then what happens? Automatically their mind will start the work. In our case, what happens? Say for an example, I'm doing some work, half an hour, 45 minutes or 1 hour. After finishing and I go back to my room and I sit for study, at least 5-10 minutes the lingering is coming about the work or about some other things happened, and mind is thinking, brooding on some other thoughts, ideas. It might take 30-40 minutes based on individual case to switch over to larger extent to for study, to tune one mind to that study. And by the time it gets into the study, 1 hour is over or 1.5 hours is over, and some other work is waiting for me. I close my book and I continue my work. Then again, you come back after an hour or 2 or 3 or 4, then you struggle for 1 hour study, then probably 15, 20 minutes. To certain extent, mind was with your study, and other times it was oscillating between many things. This is what happens with a common man, but with these people, it doesn't happen. So some, they live at the level of thoughts. Some they live, for example, Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, they always used to live at the level of spirit. So when we hear the author says that this meditation should be uninterrupted, even during our mundane affairs, can we do this type of meditation? The question may come. Initial days it is difficult, but whenever we, in the prescribed time, we should keep on practicing it. When it becomes intense and when it is becomes long duration, even when we are doing our day-to-day activities, a portion of the mind will be doing it. Will be doing this reflection or contemplation or meditation on the self, so that the complete negation of the ignorance or destruction of the ignorance is possible, and one can establish oneself in the nature. Now we can see in the life of Ramakrishna, always his mind, by seeing flower, he used to remember God. By seeing clouds, he remembered God. By seeing a person with a crossed leg, he remembered Krishna. We can see in the life of Vivekananda, we have got always, the problem is taking our mind to the upper level. And Swami Vivekananda had also one problem, similar problem, only with a difference. What is that? Their mind to bring down was a great difficulty for them, because his mind was used to live at the level of spirit or live at the level of self. So when that was common for them, if it has to be common for us also, yes, it is possible by continuous efforts. That's why Patanjali says that I think 3 or 4 conditions he gives for the abhyasa, for the practice. What is that? One is that nairantarya. It should be for long time. Then other is quality. I sat for 3 hours of meditation, but there is no quality there. Hardly I thought about it, whatever I'm supposed to think, and other time, most of the other things you are thinking. Then there's a quality of the meditation is lagging. So quality of the meditation is also required. Second thing. The third thing he says that there should be enthusiasm in doing the thing. We should have zest, enthusiasm. Oh, Swamiji has said, scriptures have said, or XYZ has said. So I have to sit for meditation, I will sit. Not because of helplessness, because not of compulsion sitting, but instead of that, with conscious and with the enthusiasm, if you sit or if you do any action, if you practice anything, then success is possible for all of us. These are the 3 conditions given by Patanjali with respect to abhyasa. Many times we are practicing a meditation or a devotional practice or a study for a long time or for a given point of time. Still, expected results we don't get. Why? Because among these 3, something is left out. And the Nairantarya, he says that they should be continuous. Today you did 8 hours, tomorrow you did 4 hours, then 2 hours, then 6 hours, then you forgot for 1 hour or for 1 week. Then again you started. If you do that, then that is also not good. Then success may not be possible. Nairantarya means it should be continuous till reaching the goal, till achieving the goal. That is what Nairantarya, and the longevity is also important. The quality is also important. With enthusiasm, one has to practice. Then that is called abhyasa, according to the Patanjali. So here also author is telling, if you can do this uninterrupted meditation, then you will be able to understand who are you. Then you will be self-realized person. So when I am self-realized, what happens? That is told in the next whatever sloka. We will try to understand next week. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.